He's described as a super-savvy businessman, an ardent activist, and a global spiritual warrior. From a young age, Shirish Soni had a strong sense of justice, knowing deeply in his heart that all beings are equal in the eyes of the divine. His strong personality, outstanding negotiating skills, and a deep love of South Africa made him an ideal candidate for a career in politics. Today, he proudly represents our rainbow nation as the South African ambassador to Kazakhstan, as well as the neighboring former USSR countries of Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and Turkmenistan. Based in Astana, the capital of Kazakhstan, Ambassador Soni and his wife Rueda share Nelson Mandela's message of peaceful celebration of our vibrantly rich traditions with the residents of this beautiful city. When he first arrived in Astana 3 years ago, the people there knew very little about South Africa.
If you ask most people in Kazakhstan, do you know South Africa? They may say, I don't. But if you say, do you know Mandela? Yes, they do. The second big brand that we have is FIFA. If we had to say, do you know FIFA 2010? Oh yes, we know that your country hosted. So part of our job is to market South Africa and bring this awareness of our country to the people of Kazakhstan.
After her morning sadhana, Rueda takes some time out to wander along the banks of the Ishim River. She reflects on their lives and times, which have not always been easy. In 2010, they survived a terrible attack in their home in South Africa. Rueda was severely beaten and traumatized and was not given long to live. When her guru, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, heard about her condition, he immediately sent for her, and she spent many months at the ashram in India. Thanks to his encouragement and the caring doctors at the Art of Living ashram, her strength gradually returned.
I am so grateful for this experience. On the whole, this robbery, if it wasn't for this robbery, I would not have received the gifts that I got in ashram. And this had made, firstly, me strong as a person, but as a couple, it has bounded us together that I don't think there's anything that can separate us. Even it was very hard to be away from the kids, but I didn't feel hardship because I was in such a controlled environment. And the space that I was in, there was no space or place for regrets or negativity or missing anyone. It was just me hanging on to life and swimming to stay on top.
Shirish too has had his fair share of hardship. At the age of 16, he became aware of the suffering of many of South Africa's people. While still a student, he joined the MJK, a unit of the then banned ANC underground. He was arrested in 1985 and spent 7 months in solitary confinement, suffering unspeakable acts of torture.
Deep inside me, I knew that my life was not going to be an easy journey. I knew that I'm going to get very soaked into the ANC. I knew that I will always put the ANC before my family. I would always put the ANC before my business and before myself. Of course, when I reflect, it's a very painful thing to have done, but it is something that I did consciously.
The next day, we joined the ambassador and his guest for a ride up the cable car to Talgar Pass, 25 kilometers south of Almaty.
We look forward to hosting you in our country.
Thank you.
In winter, this is a popular destination for skiers, where the temperature drops to -7 degrees and snowfalls up to 1.5 meters thick are quite common between November and April. But we were here in August, a few months before the first snowfalls. It was already quite chilly here at the top of the ski lift at 3,200 meters above sea level, with cold air blowing off the glacier high above us. The mountains and valleys here are stunningly beautiful, and together with the wild flowers and bird life, the serenity and peace that a visitor will experience make this place well worth a visit any time of the year. Here we came across a prayer tree. Local people and Kazakh tourists tie pieces of cloth to the tree while silently praying for their wishes to come true. At the foot of the mountain, Ambassador Sony and his new friend stopped at a small country hotel to meet another local businessman who wanted to know more about South Africa's National Development Plan and how it could help his company's investment strategy.
The National Development Plan is a plan for South Africa up to 2030. What is very interesting about this plan is that it has a lot of higher values. The higher values that are placed by all religions. So, for example, caring, sharing, respect, belongingness, acceptance are all enshrined as the values that we as South Africans should work with to build and implement this plan.
Shirish and Rueda Sony have adapted well to the sometimes harsh conditions in this beautiful country. They've made many new friends here and have been very successful in increasing the awareness of South Africa in Kazakhstan. Many of the young people they meet have shown great interest in traveling to our Rainbow Nation, to explore business opportunities and to enjoy the country's wonderful weather and hospitality.
Part of the brand that Rueda and I have built jointly is what we call DDD, African dressing, African dancing and African drumming. Well, you know, Rueda's been a designer, so she has a major flair for African dressing and sewing the most exquisite outfits. African drumming is something I enjoy doing, and African dancing again is something Rueda does. So when we came to Kazakhstan, we brought 108 African drums, 108 portraits of Nelson Mandela, and in this 2.5 years we have been teaching Kazakh children to play the djembe drum in 4 different schools. Each year we have brought a professional teacher from Cape Town to teach the children how to play drums. And it's something that's added to the social fabric, the cultural fabric of Kazakhstan. People love it, they enjoy it, and they participate very happily in it. It also gives us a great satisfaction.
Shirish Sony takes his role as South Africa's ambassador to Kazakhstan very seriously. He performs his ambassadorial duties with dedication and enthusiasm. Yet he is much more than just a political figure. Wherever he goes, he shares Nelson Mandela's message of peace and forgiveness. He encourages everyone to accept the United Nations challenge to engage in 67 minutes of service every year as a tribute to Nelson Mandela's 67 years of service to freedom and equality. Above all, though, Shirish is a spiritual ambassador, living his professional and personal life according to the teachings of his guru Sri Sri Ravi Shankar. As Art of Living teachers, both he and Rueda have made it their life's work to spread these teachings, these basic human values, to all who they come in contact with.
I think every person on this universe should have a guru. I think every South African, through the deep pain, the legacy of apartheid, the dehumanization of our souls, should always have good spiritual practice. And that is what will help us when we reach 2030 to look back and say we have really built this rainbow nation where we all belong to each other, where we feel accepted by each other, and we feel accepted, and we feel that we belong to this universe, and we claim our rightful space in society and in the world.
His Holiness Sri Sri Ravi Shankar says, "If you are passionate, be passionate about the highest, the most wonderful, and the most beautiful. Be passionate about this entire creation, for everything is so beautiful." These words may well have been describing the beautiful country of Kazakhstan and its people. It could also be describing Shirish and Rueda, who continue to inspire politicians, businessmen, and ordinary folk with their passion for South Africa, their unshakable faith in the teachings of their guru, and their deep spiritual beliefs and practices. We left Kazakhstan in no doubt that Shirish Soni lives up to his well-earned reputation as South Africa's very own spiritual ambassador.